Good evening and welcome to the September 6, 2023 meeting of the Roseville City Council and Housing Authority. We'll call the meeting to order and I'll ask the city clerk to call the roll.
Vice Mayor Bernasconi.
Here.
Councilmember Alvord.
Here.
Councilmember Rakucci.
Here.
Councilmember Mendonça.
Here.
Mayor Haudashelt.
Here. To lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening is our Fire Chief, Rick Bartee, who returned Monday from helping the folks in Lahaina.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On behalf of the council, let me thank Chief Bartee in his role as FEMA Urban Rescue, I didn't get the title right, but for providing comfort to the victims and the survivors from the fire in Lahaina. Now I'll ask the city clerk to announce the meeting procedures.
Thank you. On behalf of the City Council, I'd like to welcome you to tonight's City Council meeting. If you've not already picked up an agenda, they are available at the end of the staff table over there. If you wish to speak to an item not appearing on tonight's agenda, you may do so under public comment, which is item number 6. Items must be within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. A total of 25 minutes is allotted for public comments, and each speaker is provided 3 minutes. As a reminder, the Brown Act prohibits the City Council from discussing or taking any action on items not listed on the agenda. Members of the public will have a second opportunity to provide public comments at the end of the meeting just prior to council reports. For items that are on the agenda tonight, speakers will have 5 minutes to provide their comments. All comments from the public should be directed to the City Council, not to the audience and not to staff members. Speaker time limits will be monitored, and when the red light on the podium blinks, please conclude your comments. And if you do address the City Council tonight, we would appreciate you considering your name for the record. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll start with presentations. And the first presentation is from the Placer Business Alliance, providing an update on their activities and their trip.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, everybody. Thanks so much for having me be here tonight. I am really leaning over, so I'm going to try to fix this here. Okay, so I am the Executive Director of the Placer Business Alliance, a new title that I just got about a month ago, so I'm very happy to be here in front of you wearing that hat. I have done a lot of work here in Roseville.
Would you give us your name for the record?
Sure. Cherry Spriggs.
Thank you.
I actually thought I said that, so apologize. I have done a lot of work here in Roseville, as you all know, and one of the things that I think is very important to any of the work that we're doing is just talking and collaborating and making sure everybody knows what's going on. So Placer Business Alliance is an organization that was formed in 2021, so we're still relatively new, just over 2 years old, and we were formed around advocacy specific to 8 economic sectors, and we align with the way in which the county aligns with their economic development. That would be agriculture and forestry, construction, finance and insurance, healthcare and social assistance, manufacturing, real estate, and rental leasing, retail, and tourism. So those 8. But really it's energy, transportation, education, public safety, water, all of these things that actually connect all 8 of those sectors that we're really working to advocate on behalf of. So over the last year, we have, I want to talk about a few of the things that we've done in the last year, kind of what we have for the rest of this year, because it really does, Roseville is central to all of it, actually. So we got our first year going. We launched with our initial supporters. We've continued to add supporters this year, including the Roseville area firefighters. We're very grateful for that support of your firefighters. And as we've continued to grow our supporter base, we've been able to do many different things within the community, right? So we're doing things around agriculture. We just had a viticultural event where we sponsored some research with Sierra College and the Vintners Association to really look at an emerging labor market trend around viticulture and what could be for us here in South Placer for the next 10 years. We're, honestly looking at with the correct investments, looking at a region like Santa Barbara or Santa Maria in terms of wine growing. So that's really exciting there, right? So we've done some BIA housing trends research. We're looking at doing that again. That's obviously very important to what you all have going on here in Roseville. A lot of forest management and protection there, as well as participated with other partners like we have the Placer County Water Agency, Western Caucus Foundation, right? All of these different organizations, PCTPA, the transportation piece, really our organization has connected all of these groups together and working towards advocating for these 8 sectors. So I think what we're most well known for is having this DC trip, which we've done for the last 2 years. We're going on to our 3rd. We've had Roseville support the whole time. It's been lovely and wonderful. And this year is no different. I wanted to share a little bit about the agenda with you all because I haven't done so yet. And I know last year I had an opportunity to meet with, Mayor Bernasconi at the time, but Vice Mayor now, about what our agenda looked like for last year. We had Mayor Haddishelt come with us last year. And then this year we have quite a few of you coming, including Mark Walensky too, which is really exciting, as well as your firefighters are coming with us. So that's super wonderful for us. We're really excited about that. So as it relates to what we have for Roseville specifically, and it's so important because you all have done things right here. I know enough of you professionally, and I know the work that you all are doing here and the type of community that you have, and it really is an example for the rest of the county. So that's why I am so excited to have this participation this year. But we'll have you all participating in a service delivery needs piece this year. We will have the Roseville Joint Union High School District superintendent with us this year on a K through 12 dual enrollment career tech pathways panel that we'll be doing. We will also have your lobbyist with us this year, your DC lobbyist, who actually happens to be the PCTPA lobbyist as well. He will be participating this year to give us an update on federal transportation funding. And then, like I mentioned, we'll have your firefighters there. We're doing a piece on public safety in the training center and the FBI crime lab. We're also doing a piece on Placer Center and what that means for this area too. So I can go on and on because I'm super passionate about all of this, but really just incredibly grateful for your continued support. I'm out making the rounds, talking to all the different groups, doing all the things, like I said, in terms of public outreach. But I just wanted to be here tonight to thank you and just give you a little bit of what we've got going on, had going on this last year, and what we're looking forward to for the end of the year. So with that, I don't know if you have any questions.
Before I make
Yeah.
any comments, I want to give my colleagues an opportunity to ask you any questions or share any thoughts they have. Councilman Albert?
Not at this time.
Thanks.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you for the update, and I don't think I've ever met you, so I'm glad to see you.
Hey, nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Appreciate the update.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
Yeah, and really last year, let me just give you some reflections on my experience last year. Was there with folks from Lincoln, folks from Rockland, right? It was around November. Rockland had an opportunity because Congress was coming in, and Congressman-elect Kiley was there, so they had an opportunity to talk with them about their projects. The innovation that's embodied within some of the folks that participated last year, and is it Fortress, the fire retardant,
Yeah.
chemically, benign to the environment, those types of things. And then certainly, the relationship building that happens and the ability to have conversations, with colleagues that you may have wanted to have but don't really, in a busy day. That really kind of building that quality of life that we have here in Roseville that is connected. And I think you said it well, whether it's the railroad and then the third track, or whether it's water, and whether it's agriculture. I mean, Fitterment Road got its name for a reason, right? So it is really a good opportunity to, in a very compact way, to get up to speed on a variety of issues. So it was very very valuable last year.
Well, thank you for that. So last year, the whole idea last year, built upon the year prior. And the year prior, we spent a lot of time talking about the PCCP and kind of why things are the way they are in South Placer. Last year, we talked about Placer as a place, and you can't spell Placer without spelling place. So really talked a lot about what that means. What does it mean to be a place that people want to be in the next 20 years? And that a lot was inspired by the state of the city last year. Got me thinking about what is that story that we wanted to tell. And then this year, the people, what are we doing to make sure that we're taking care of our people here, that quality of life piece, right? We work so closely with Visit Placer and the County Economic Development, Gloria Stearns, and really, the county's economic development, Gloria is using the Visit Placer tourism video to help recruit, right? Why are they doing that? Because it shows the quality of life here, right? So, and I think it's the best here in Roseville. So I really do look to you all as examples for what is possible, for sure. So this year it's going to be about the people. So thank you.
Sold out trip, huh?
It is a sold out trip, actually. It was pretty exciting.
New sponsors, right?
New sponsors. We sold out. We actually have a waiting list of 4 people. So if any of those 4 who signed up want to cancel, we have 4 ready to go in their spot. But yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you for
Thanks so much.
Thanks for that update. Next, we have the opportunity.
comment.
Oh,
We have
I'm
public-
sorry.
Public comment?
Public comment on the presentation. Is there anyone who would like to make public comment on the presentation? Thanks, gang, for catching me on that. All right, next is a proclamation on Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, September 2023. John Albrecht. All right.
Sounds good. You and me both. All right,
All right, well, you read along while I read, okay?
we can do
This
that.
is your proclamation.
Okay.
Whereas prostate cancer is
The most
frequently diagnosed cancer in men.
and the second leading cause of cancer deaths in men. And whereas the American Cancer Society estimates that there will be 288,000 plus new cases of prostate cancer in the USA in 2023, resulting in an estimated 34,700 deaths each year. And more than 30,000 men in California will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. And whereas early stage prostate cancer usually has no symptoms, and studies suggest strong familiar predispositions may be responsible for 5 to 10% of the disease cases. And whereas late-stage prostate cancer commonly spreads to the bones, which can cause pain in the hips, spines, ribs, and other areas of the body. And whereas the 5-year survival rate approaches 100% when prostate cancer is diagnosed and treated early, but drops to 31% when it spreads to other parts of the body. And whereas the American Cancer Society recommends that men should have an opportunity to make an informed decision about whether to be tested for prostate cancer based on their personal values and preferences.
And now I'm going to take it from here.
Please.
And whereas the rapid reduction in prostate cancer mortality is attributed to early detection through PSA testing and advancement in treatment, and whereas the City of Roseville joins communities across the nation to increase awareness about the importance for men to make an informed decision with their health care provider about early detection and testing for prostate cancer. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Roseville City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2023 as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month and urge citizens to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in prostate cancer awareness.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
It's my
Appreciate
pleasure.
that very much.
All right.
And thank you, council. Absolutely. Have a great evening.
All right. As the city clerk mentioned, we will have a period of public comment for items not listed on the consent calendar, and we have a speaker card from Gerald Johnson. Gerald? Yes. You have 3 minutes? 3 minutes. So it'll go green, yellow, red.
Gotcha. I think we all played red light, green light when we were kids.
What's that?
I think we played red light, green light when we were kids,
I
right?
think we did, right?
All right, I'm coming to the council. We've been having issues, the 600 block of Sierra Boulevard, right next to Roseville High School with parking. Unfortunately, we only have parking permits, us as residents. And it's only on the right side as you're facing the school. 6 homes are affected by this, and then part of lost floors going up to the alley of the cafeteria. At this point, residents have been fed up. We've been met with disrespect. Heck, I mean, in graduation, your parking enforcement is spread thin, and they're out there ticketing. We're hearing people say, "Oh, well, it was well worth it." Well, sorry, but hey, I'm coming to you humble right now in my work clothes, so I apologize. But I mean, we're dropping kids off, we're picking kids up. We've got elderly people that need access into their homes, and the parking spots are taken because of the events from the high school or so on and so forth. So I'm coming to you guys humbly on behalf of the 600 block, asking for prompt enforcement. Right now when we call, it could be 2 days before someone comes out, it seems like. So at this point, Officer Figueroa's done an amazing job when he comes out. He's one of the younger parking enforcement officials. And then Officer Hentz with the school when school's in session. He's done an amazing job helping us clean up the neighborhood, especially at the end of last school year. It was kind of hectic right there on the corner of Las Flores and Sierra Boulevard. We had trash, drugs being sold right there on the corner. So we were really, kids were cutting school and just hanging out there all day. It was bad. We're looking for better signs that say, hey, this is resident parking only. It doesn't say 8 to 3 like everywhere else in green. We need some signs that stick out that says, hey, if you park here, you're going to get in trouble. Because people don't care. Oh, well, my son's got an event here, my daughter, I'm parking here, I don't care. And unfortunately, we do, because we got to get in, we got to get out, we got to go. We've got lives too. Big time on the weekends, big time during the school nights and stuff like that. At this point, Roseville can only do so much. They can send out their letters and stuff like that, and they've been really diligent about it, the high school. But it's also the away people coming for games and stuff like that. We would love to see possibly some towing options, because at this point there are people that do know that they're not supposed to park there, but they park there anyways. And we don't have any authority other than waiting for parking enforcement to get out there, which could be all day. At that point, they laugh at us. What are you going to do? Kind of fed up with that. So are all my neighbors. We would ask also if there's any way that the city would be able to provide each home, all 6 homes on that block, 2 A-frames saying no event parking. We've tried to approach the school. The school doesn't have anything or any resources such as that. So at this point, we know that we've heard of from parking enforcement that there's been a street that does allow it or has done the same thing. I think I'm sorry. But at this point, we definitely want to put this on a calendar and really get this hammered out sooner than later, because we've got neighbors that have been dealing with it for a long time.
Let me thank you for your constructive and thoughtful request. And I'll ask our city manager to.
Gentleman right behind you, Ryan DeVores, our assistant city manager over Public Works, and he'll give you his contact. We have a process for this, and we'll certainly help you out.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for very constructive comments, very solution-oriented. Anyone else? Public comment on non-agenda items that would include the government class from Wood Creek, I'm sorry, yeah. Okay. No one else? Okay. Well, we will have another opportunity at the end of the agenda. I'll now ask the clerk to announce the procedures for the consent calendar.
The consent calendar on tonight's agenda consists of items 7.1 through 7.28. Those items are considered routine in nature and will not have any further discussion unless a member of the public wishes to remove an item for further discussion. Does anyone in the audience wish to pull an item for further discussion? No? Okay, seeing none, may I ask for a motion to approve the consent calendar as recommended?
So moved.
Second?
Vice Mayor Bernasconi?
Yes.
Councilmember Albert? Yes. Councilmember Rakucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Yes.
And Mayor Haudashelt?
Yes. Thanks very much, everybody. All right, next we'll move to resolutions 8.1, automated materials handling system, contract purchase agreement, and we'll have a staff presentation from our Parks Recreation Library Manager Natasha Martin and our Parks Recreation Director Jill Geller.
Well, good evening, Mayor Haudashelt, members of the council. I am Jill Geller, your Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Director. And this item before you tonight is a request for an approval of a contract purchase agreement for a new automated materials handling system at our Roseville Public Libraries. I'm really pleased to be here with our city librarian, Natasha Martin, tonight, and she'll gladly tell you more about this project.
Thank you, Jill. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I am really excited to talk about this project with you this evening. And just to give you some background, our original automated materials handling and RFID, what's the radio frequency tagging, self-check stations, and security gates were installed in 2014. The resulted increase in efficiencies for our customers and staff in the lending and returning of library materials saved us approximately 5 full-time staff over the life of the system. Our RFID tags and security gates help decrease the loss of our inventory. Customer privacy increased with the ability for customers to check out materials at our self-check stations, and that also reduced our wait times at our public service desks. Since the installation in 2014, nearly 10 million items have circulated from our 3 public libraries. These systems are designed to have a lifespan of around 8 years. And with the amount of usage they have seen over the years and the lifespan now exceeding the replacement date, we are dealing with outages and failures on an increasing basis, and that creates a negative experience for our library customers. An RFP was issued in 2012 with an approved budget of $800,000. We are happy to report that our chosen vendor comes in under cost and delivers a much improved and efficient system. As the city continues to grow and our library lending and visitation increases, we have the need to take advantage of the new systems to maintain the high level of customer experience that our residents are used to. And now I'd like to give you a little bit overview of the functionality of the system. Our automated materials handling return system, or our sorters, gives our customers the convenience of self-service returns through both interior and exterior induction systems. The sorting system offers the ability to minimize and configure bins to reduce the handling of the number of times we handle a book or material once it's going to be returned on our shelves. Our self-loan stations allow customers to borrow, return, and renew items, to manage any reservations they have through our programming system, to pay their fines and fees, to learn about library programs through advertising on the self-check station, and to counsel loans. And finally, the security gates provide us with both visual and audible alarms when customers leave without checking out their materials. They're fully ADA compliant, and they provide our people counters that integrate with our one-step checkout app. Since we installed the system in 2014, as you can imagine, there has been a lot of improvements in technology, and some of the enhancements and efficiencies are really exciting for us. Our new automated materials handling system is a fully scalable system that allows libraries to build sorting systems that sort materials into as many different bins on the conveyor belt as we can. We can reduce the manual handling of these items and then be able to sort them to the destination in which they need to go. We're able to receive holds, and items can be shelved in pre-sorted totes and bins. And then we have the flexibility for staff to configure the system in whichever way is most efficient, depending on the location. This means that a customer can return an item. It will be checked in automatically at that point, and each item will be returned to the shelves much sooner for the customers, and staff will have fewer touch points along those lines. The mobile checkout is a new application that you can download from the Apple Store or Google Play. It allows customers with any smartphone to borrow items from anywhere within the library. So the customer simply logs in with their library account number, and then they scan the barcode of the item that they wish to borrow with their phone. And this will be automatic checkout so that the customer can then leave the library without alarming the gates or having to go to a self-check machine or to interact with a staff person. In 2012 alone, we saw an increase of 24% in library visitation and a 10% increase in our materials loaned over the previous year. Having the ability to offset these increases with the advent of improved technology helps keep our staffing costs down and allows our staff to focus on more public-facing services and programs. And the new system will further increase our efficiencies in the time it takes to return the library materials to the shelves, allowing more self-checkout and privacy options for our customers, similar to you have in a retail environment. And so with that, I just want to let you all know that our Roseville's libraries welcome nearly 500,000 visitors each year, and annually we circulate 1.2 million items. We're excited to replace our aging automated materials handling system with this new system to better serve our residents. For this reason, our staff recommend that the City Council adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a contract purchase agreement with Invengo American Corp. DBA FE Technologies in an amount not to exceed $1,600,000. This amount includes $710,633,000 for a new automated materials handling system, its installation, and the removal of the existing equipment, $64,382 for change orders, and $71,246 per year for the 4 years of maintenance and support. And this concludes my presentation, and I'm more than happy to answer questions about the system.
Councilman Albert, any questions?
We have the current system for 9 years, and we have a 4-year warranty on this. Just curious, what's its life expectancy?
Our 10-year CIP plan, we calculate that we would update the system every 8 years.
Okay.
So at the end of this renewal, if we needed to go back, we would extend the service and maintenance agreement with the existing vendor.
Okay. Is there an opportunity to save money by getting a longer maintenance contract? Just curious.
We only
Down spot on that.
we only explore that length because that's typical of the length of contracts that we enter into. I'm not sure if there's other options available for that, but we could look into that for
Let's
sure.
have the city.
Well, if I may add on that, it's very challenging to get more than a 4-year maintenance agreement from any technology organization out there. As you know, they very often change hands, and so 4 years is actually pretty good.
Thank you.
Ms. McBurney, County?
No questions, thank you.
Rakucci?
I was just curious when you were talking about you can pick out a book, use your app, and then walk in and get the book. Is the book out on the light, at the desk someplace sitting for you, or do you
No,
have to
it's
go find-
anywhere within the library. So like any of you that might have a Sam's Club membership and you just go and you scan
Go
your
to-
item on the
to
shelf
that
and then
shelf.
you just leave. It's a similar system where you just go to the shelf. With some of the library systems that we visited that already had the equipment, and we talked to staff at the different locations in our vetting process. They were talking about families that have a lot of children. They're checking out a lot of children's materials. They loved it because they were able to check out when they're sitting and browsing and reading. They didn't have to then gather everything and then go check out again, because by that time it would be lunchtime and children would be getting upset. So it made it really convenient for parents especially, because then they can just check out from anywhere in the library, not have to go to another place before they leave.
Does your scan tell you where to go? Like what shelf or where to go?
The library catalog would tell you the location of the item. And that part of our system is not changing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Mendoza?
Just curious, I love this idea. I'm glad we're continuing to improve, but is this going to cost any jobs or create additional jobs or within the library?
It actually doesn't, it's not going to cost any jobs. It's going to help us mitigate the increases in our visitation and our circulation because of all the volume of materials, especially if you look at the Riley Library. When we have these outages for our current system, the backlog that we get will have carts that we can't get shelved for days because of the volume. And so we couldn't function without this equipment, but it will not be, we will not be eliminating any positions.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't have any comments. I'll open it for public comment. Close public comment. Inquire if the council has any additional questions or comments regarding the presentation.
Good.
Ask the clerk to read the motion.
The motion is to adopt resolution number 23-365, approving a contract purchase agreement by and between the City of Roseville and Invengo American Corps, DBA Fay Technologies, and authorizing the city manager to execute it on behalf of the City of Roseville. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Vice Mayor Bernasconi?
Yes.
Councilmember Albert?
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendonça?
Yes.
And Mayor Haudashelt?
Yes, I love our libraries.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next we have an ordinance, Roseville Parkway Extension Project Award of, this must be, it says award of contract. Professional Services Agreement, Purchase Order, and Budget Adjustment. And we're ready for your presentation.
All right, that is correct. Good evening, Mayor Haudashelt and members of the council. My name is Jason Shaikowski, and I am your Public Works Director. I'm pleased to bring before you tonight a request to approve a construction contract, a professional services agreement for construction management, a purchase order for embankment fill dirt, and a budget adjustment to completely fund the highly anticipated Roseville Parkway Extension Project. Joining me to share the details of the project is a project manager and associate engineer, Jesse Katkar. Jesse?
Thank you, Jason. Before we get into the details regarding the request for council tonight, allow me to provide a brief overview of various aspects of the project. The project will complete an east-west connection within the city, connecting fast-growing western portions of Roseville to jobs, retail centers, freeway connections in the north-central area of Roseville. The north-central area includes places like the Galleria Mall, the Fountains, and connections to State Route 65 at Galleria Boulevard and Pleasant Grove. Some key improvements being constructed by the project include 2 vehicle lanes in each direction, landscaped medians and bridge approaches, drainage systems, Class 2 bike lanes on both sides of the road, sidewalks, ADA-compliant curb ramps, a multi-use path that'll connect Foothills to Washington Boulevard, intersection upgrades, and a bridge over Union Pacific Railroad and Industrial Avenue. Specific to the bridge, the multi-use path and vehicle travel lanes will be separated by a concrete barrier. All barriers and faces of the bridge will have a dry stack rock texture along with an oak leaf motif as shown on the image on the screen. In order to meet the vertical clearances over Union Pacific Railroad with the bridge, a large amount of soil is needed for the embankment fill. This need was identified early on in the project, and over the course of project development, staff worked with private developers to identify approximately 120,000 cubic yards of soil. The graphic on the screen shows stockpiles of soil on site as well as in close proximity to the project. By using these local materials, the city is saving approximately $315,000 in direct project costs and removing roughly 1,200 truck trips from neighboring roads. This reduces the project impact on the city's overall roadway network. The project was bid from May 26th to July 25th of this year. There was extensive engagement from contractors during this period of time, and ultimately 5 bids were received. All bids were under the engineer's estimate, with the low bidder, De Silva Gates, being over $2 million lower than the next bidder. Now I'll hand it back over to Jason.
Thank you, Jesse. So tonight, staff is recommending that council approve the following. Award the project to low bidder De Silva Gates for $21 million and authorize a 10% change order authority. Approve a $2.3 million professional services agreement with KCM Engineers for construction management and inspection services. Approve $180,000 in purchase order authority for 80,000 cubic yards of embankment soil from the adjacent Panatone development. And adopt an ordinance for $27 million of budget adjustment capacity to fully fund the project construction. If council approves these actions, construction is expected to begin in late September, early October, and be completed by the spring of 2025. And that concludes our presentation, and we would be happy to answer any questions.
All right, I'll ask if council has any questions.
You guys
Councilman Albert?
will be moving dirt later this month or next month?
Well,
Is that what-
That is the hope, to begin moving material in late September or October of this year.
And then the expected completion is like end of next year if everything goes well-ish?
Currently, we have expected completion as spring of 2025.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
No, sir.
Happy to have you. Good to have this before us.
I do, yeah, so there is currently on the Washington Boulevard side of it, a dirt pile, an embankment, right? Is that already from, you showed a Panatone site, believe that site's already completed and built. Is that the dirt that's there, or?
The material on the Washington Boulevard side was brought over from the Green Acres development.
Okay.
Don't recall the timing of that.
No,
Yeah.
Timing's immaterial.
Yep.
Just was curious, because, okay. All right, great. No, I don't have any other questions. I'll open it up for public comment. Close public comment, bring it back to the council, see if there are any additional questions. I do have one comment, but I'll reserve it for the end. Any additional questions or comments? Can you do this faster? I mean, I want to cut 2 miles off of my round-trip bike ride out to Creekview, right? All right. And I really, I took Blue Oaks coming back. Yeah, I'm risk averse, but Blue Oaks on a bicycle, I wouldn't recommend it anyway. This is great. This is great news. This was, in 2019, we had the decision between Blue Oaks and here, so it's great to see this finally come to fruition and come in under budget. So, thanks. I'll ask the clerk to read a motion.
Motion is to award the Roseville Parkway Extension Project to low bidder De Silva Gates Construction LLC in the amount of $21,286,286, and adopt resolution number 23-366, approving an agreement by and between the City of Roseville and De Silva Gates Construction LLC, and authorizing the city manager to execute it on behalf of the City of Roseville, and provide change order authority of 10% of the contract amount, and adopt, adopt resolution number 23-367, approving a professional services agreement by and between the City of Roseville and KCM Engineering, Inc., a California corporation, DBA Knight CM Group, and authorizing the city manager to execute it on behalf of the City of Roseville. Approve a sole source purchase order to Panatone Development Company for the purchase of embankment soil in the amount of $180,000, and adopt ordinance number 6709, transferring $27,320,000 from the Traffic Mitigation Fund and declaring this ordinance to be immediately effective as an appropriation measure. May I have a motion, please?
So moved?
Second.
Vice Mayor Bernasconi?
Yes.
Councilmember Albert?
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendonça?
Yes.
Mayor Haudashelt?
Yes. Thanks very much for your presentation, and congratulations. on
Exciting, thank you.
Getting to this point, yep, absolutely. All right, we will now have our second opportunity for public comment on non-agenda items. Extra credit to any high school students who were brave enough to come forward. Seeing no takers, I'll ask the city manager if he has any other reports.
No further reports, Mayor. Thank you.
City attorney?
No, thank you.
All right, great. Councilwoman Rakucci, would you lead us off with council member reports and activity?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. There's been several things that have happened, and many of us had been there together, so I'm just going to hit a couple of them. A lot of them are legislative. I'm going to actually start from where I just left a couple hours ago. I'm a board member for Northern California Water Association, and many of the members are rural, and so I'll take turns, and we're able to see how we all live with water. And matter of fact, they're going to be coming to Roseville to see our aqua recharge and what we do in our city. But I had the opportunity to be on a walnut farm, and I've never seen so many machines in my life because because I'm not a walnut farmer, and it's really interesting when you see what it takes to do things. And that was really good. It was actually a supervisor from Sutter County, Matt Conant's farm, and so we were able to do that. We also had Bureau of Reclamation regional leader Ernest Conant there, and he gave us an update on Bureau of Reclamation's things that were going on. A little bit about Sites Reservoir, that it's working through its EIR and EIS process, so some of its environmental work, and that they're hoping that, it's coming along the process. It still takes a long time to get a reservoir going, but it's in the right direction. So that was today. Yesterday, had a meeting for Placer County Water Agency in the city of Roseville, along with Councilmember Alvord, and we were updating some of the water systems here in Roseville and Placer County, and how that fits on for our city, and also how in the future looking at how you connect Sacramento River with American River, and this is future on, but looking on the big picture of making sure we have water stability in our area. So that was a good meeting. Just before that, we had another meeting here in Roseville. We like to meet with our neighbors, different groups, and we met with the Roseville High School School Board with Julie Hirota and John Becker and another Pete Constant, and with Mayor Halderschelt and I, and we met and just touched bases and how things going, and just kind of being there because we're all in here for the city of Roseville and our Roseville residents and our kids. And so that was, and this is not the first time we've met. We've met over the years, but with COVID, that how that slowed everything down. Now we're back up and meeting with people and keeping our dialogue continuing. So that's really important. And only one other thing I was going to mention. I left all the council members. It's the agenda for Northern California Power Association last week, which city is a member, and I'm one of the board members. But they had quarterly, they have a legislative and regulatory meeting, but they talk all about the state and national issues that affect electricity. And so literally they go from 12 noon to 4 o'clock. And so it just keeps your eyes wide open of what's kind of going around us and how we can be a part of it and help make change better for the city of Roseville and Placer County. So that's kind of what's going on. There'll be other things they'll mention, but that's enough from me. Thank you.
Councilmember Mendoza.
Many of us had the opportunity to go to the Placer Electeds dinner at the Rockland Event Center, and heard an update on all the wonderful things that are going on at Sierra College from President Willie Duncan. It was really good to hear from a regional perspective just how much Sierra College impacts not only Rockland, but all of us here in Placer County. And they've got some really exciting things that are up and coming, some growth, and some great new buildings and departments that are going to be up and coming over the next 12 to 18 months. So stay tuned for more updates on that. I'm sure they'll be updating the public through their social media channels, and they've already started to do that, but there's some great stuff going on there. And many of us attended other events, and I don't want to steal anybody else's thunder, so I'll leave it there. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks. Councilman Alvord.
It's been a long time since we've met, several weeks since the last council meeting. I went in and supported, Blue Line Arts had a pretty interesting art display from Kevin Snipes, who came all the way from Philadelphia. And that was very interesting. It was fun mingling with the community. Spent time over at Pedal Connection, and they're one of the recipients of our city's grant awards, and they put together little flower vases to give to shut-ins and people that are ill and suffering, and all throughout our community, hospice and stuff. And it was really neat just spending time with the volunteers there and getting to learn how the operation works. And they put me to work making flower arrangements for a little bit, and joined our pal at the Chamber Breakfast. The Roseville Police Activities League sponsored the Chamber Breakfast late August. And I do appreciate the Chamber. That's a really neat opportunity for our business community to get together and network and talk about what they do, and do a lot of business-to-business connections. And Pauline and I went to the American Legion Post 169 over by Royer Park, and we helped award seniors that participated in a special program they have where they get into government. And they're seniors from all over the state. And they form groups, they get elected, and it's a week-long process. And it was amazing how many of them said it was the best week of their life. That's pretty incredible coming from a senior in high school. But they had elected in different positions as if they were a whole state government. Some were local water people or city council members or a sheriff. I mean, it was just interesting listening to the stories and what they learned and how government actually operates. And I guess they put a squirrel on trial and took him all the way to Supreme Court. And maybe that was an interesting comment. Got to spend a little time with some Boy Scouts in the West Park area, PAC 1533. They had all kinds of great questions and suggestions, like giving 10 animals to every family. Stray animals, we had a little discussion about the cost of that and what was involved in that, so that was educational for all of us. And then I'm also doing something kind of interesting. I've decided to attend the District Attorney's Citizens Academy. So it goes through November, and I'm going to learn about our elected District Attorney, Morgan Geyer, and how his department operates kind of from the inside out. I'm going to meet a lot of different people, and they're the group that prosecutes our accused. So they decide who they're going to prosecute to bring justice upon or fairness upon, and who they're not. And so it's just an interesting process to learn how all that works. Sorry for my long report, but we've all been busy.
Councilman Howard. Vice Mayor Bernasconi.
No, and I'll add to that, Scott, that's for our high school students that are here. That's the office that's leading the charge on the One Pill Can Kill campaign. If you hear about that, that's coming from our district attorney's office, Morgan Geyer. Just a couple things to share. I want to congratulate our mayor on a very successful State of the City. It's held once a year, and it's an opportunity for the mayor to share everything that's going on in the city. And it was held at the Galleria. Probably several hundred people were there and learned everything that we want to know about the past and the present and the future of our city. So good job. Want to thank those that attended and helped coordinate the street dedication for Nicole G., our fallen sergeant from the Marine Corps. That was held last Monday. That's a street that is on the west side of our boundary, and it took a lot of coordination. Special thanks to our sheriff's office who helped, who did a flyover, to our first responders who escorted the family down the street, and to all the community and veterans and people who knew her and didn't know her to really show their respect for the sacrifice that she gave. Let's see. Have had several committee meetings, one of which was today, as Councilmember Akuchi was said. We, aside from meeting here twice a month, we are also part of different committees that interact with our city and impact our city. And we met with 2 members of our Board of Supervisors today and the county exec there, which is the local form of government for people who don't live within city boundaries, and talked about issues that impact us both. and ways that we can work together to resolve some of these issues. So even though the high school students, you have to be here tonight, I hope that at least you learn something. Like, for example, there's going to be a new bridge that's going to run between Blue Oaks and Pleasant Grove, which I know you're on those streets all the time, which will help take traffic off of Blue Oaks and Pleasant Grove, help alleviate some of those. What? Oh,
between-
Blue Oaks
sorry,
and
Carolina.
Pleasant Grove. So hopefully if your teachers ask you what you learned, maybe that's something that you can share with them. That's all I have tonight. Thanks for being here.
Great, thank you. And there's there's all levels of government. You have school districts, you have city councils, you have boards of supervisors. One of the things that I did after our last meeting, I serve as a representative to the Sacramento Area Council of Governments. So that's the County of Sacramento, the County of Yolo, the County of El Dorado, Placer, Yuba, and Sutter. And the board of directors have been meeting this year in various jurisdictions. So on August 17th, we met in Marysville up the road, had a little walking tour before our meeting. And then we had our board of directors meeting there in Marysville, in actually Linda, which is Greater Marysville, but learned interesting things. And when you get out and walk, you have a different perspective than when you're in your vehicle and driving. One of the things they showcased that day was something called the Blue Zones, which is a healthy program. I see a head nodding. We're familiar with the Blue Zones. I wasn't. They introduced something called walking Moyas. And so we're certainly, I looked at Supervisor Gore, and I said, we need to do that because we have great trails here in the city of Roseville. So we're going to start a walking Moya program. And actually, I signed up for the Hot Fun Pink Run on September 24th, and I got to build my endurance. So we're going to meet at 8 o'clock at the Ice House Bridge this Saturday for anybody who wants to come out and get your tennis shoes, get your feet conditioned. We're going to do that.
What
Great.
time?
8 o'clock on Saturday, which is going to make it long because I'm going to have a date night on Friday night to see the Counting Crows at the venue at Thunder Valley. So, yeah, it'll be an early wake-up call. But great job. While I was in Southern Oregon, I tuned into the Nicole G. dedication, and that was just a great tribute to her, and very well done. So, my kudos to you. And as you will find out, as some of you already know, we have an incredible city. And it didn't get here yesterday. And my State of the City message was that we are intentionally committed to the vision of a generation ago, and we're laying the cornerstones for a vision a generation from now. So I got my hair cut between then and now. Otherwise, I could tell you about my understudy for Doc Brown would have more relevance if my hair was a little bit more akimbo. So anyway, a lot going on, and with that, we'll be adjourned until our September 20th meeting. Oh, wait, one more thing. So, Councilman Alvord, when he provides a robust report, and it really is a reflection of what all of us are out there in the community doing, whether it's a formal event or whether we're meeting constituents on the street. So I just want to thank Councilman Alvord for that report, because I think it is reflective of what each and every one of us do every day to serve this great community. So with that, we'll be adjourned September 20th.